Okay, what does essential mean to you? Essential basically means you have to have it, right? It is essential that I need a paycheck every month because I need to pay my bills. And if I don't get the paycheck, my bills don't get paid, right? It's essential that I have to have food in order to operate. It's essential that I have to have water every day or every couple of days, or I basically will die. Amino acids are very similar. There are essential amino acids that are out there that you have to have. So, essential amino acids. And these are amino acids that cannot be gotten because they cannot be synthesized. In other words, these are amino acids that you have to get from your diet. So your body cannot synthesize them. Those are essential. There are 10 of these amino acids. We have to know those 10 amino acids. So what are they? I'm going to write the names down because we're still getting used to the names of the amino acids. And I'm going to write the one-letter abbreviation down as well because I think it's very important for you to understand those. So here are the 10 amino acids that we need to pay attention to. Number 1 is valine, and one-letter abbreviation is V. Number 2 is leucine, one-letter abbreviation is L. Well, if leucine's essential, isoleucine is probably also essential, and it is, and that one-letter abbreviation is I. Our next one is threonine, so there's threonine and there's a T. Our next one is methionine, so I'll write down methionine, and that one's an M. The next one is lysine, and that is a K. The next one is arginine, R. The next one is phenylalanine, phenol, I say the word F, or the letter F. The next one is histidine, and that's an H. And then finally our 10th one is tryptophan. And tryptophan was that ugly one at the end, and that's a W. So these are our 10 essential amino acids. You have to get these from your diet. Your body needs them in order to make certain proteins. And these proteins, some of them are very important. And if your body cannot get these 10 amino acids, then the problem is that you can't make the proteins. Or if you do make the proteins, they're not proper proteins. They're kind of wiggly and floppy in certain areas, and they really don't quite do the job like they should. So these are 10 essential amino acids. So we get these by eating protein, right? Okay, so here I am with a little hair, and I'm cramming food in my mouth, and food is made up of protein, and protein is basically an amino acid after an amino acid after amino acid after an amino acid. It is a polymer. So what happens is that my body will go in and it will break these proteins down, and the individual amino acids will basically be freed up. So proteins are a very important component, right? So dietary protein is hydrolyzed, just like carbohydrates are hydrolyzed. I take these polymers and I break them down into individual units, and then I use those individual units to do a certain purpose. The same thing happens here. I take a protein, like a piece of chicken, I eat it, it gets broken down into the amino acids that make it up, and my body will store these amino acids, and then they will make proteins that I need. Not what that chicken needed, not what that tuna needed, not what that slab of steak needed, but what I need. So I'll take the proteins, digest them, break them down, my body stores them, and then it will kind of pull from the savings accounts and start making the proteins as I need the proteins. Okay, the protein sources that have all 10 essential amino acids are called complete. So when we talk about complete protein, these are food items that have all of the essential amino acids. Incomplete proteins have too little of one of the essential amino acids to live on it alone, and it really prevents growth, it prevents protein production, it prevents quite a number of things. So if I'm going to be limiting my food intake, I want to make sure that I have a very high level of complete protein food source and not incomplete proteins. So for instance, if maybe I'm a vegetarian and I love beans and peas and that's all that I eat, beans and peas every day, could you imagine? Please get me out of my misery. But these are food items that have very low and non-existent sometimes levels of methionine. And up here at the top, I see that methionine is an essential amino acid. My body needs it so it can make proteins that it needs to do its job. So if I only eat beans and peas on a daily basis and nothing else, my body will not get methionine. And if my body doesn't get methionine, then maybe some systems begin to shut down, and that's bad. Corn. Corn is very deficient in a couple of these essential amino acids. One is lysine and the other one's tryptophan. So if I only eat corn and corn product and nothing else, then that is not a very complete protein food source. So I'm missing some amino acids in my diet that I need in order to make the proteins that I need. So the problem here is that vegetarians, if you're on a vegetarian diet, you have to have a diet that includes proteins from multiple sources. You can't just really live on an all veggie diet and constrict what you eat to a small amount of things. If you go vegetarian, you are eliminating all of the protein, period, from typical meat sources. Proteins such as fish and chicken and pork and beef, all of these are protein sources. All of these typically have all of the amino acids that you need, and you ingest those and you reconvert those over into something that your body can actually use. But if you're vegetarian, you're cutting out all of those protein sources. So it is not uncommon for vegetarians to get their protein sources in a number of other ways. One of those very common ways is for vegetarians to drink protein shakes. So if you're looking at making sure that you have proper nutrition, well, they suggest that vegetarians drink at least a protein shake, soy protein if anything, once a day. In the morning, maybe at lunchtime, who knows. But drink a protein shake. That way you're ensuring that you're getting the amino acids that you need. Not only that, but they need to expand what they eat. So vegetarians cannot be picky eaters. What that means is that when you walk into the produce section of the grocery store, you better be comfortable with everything from the broccoli to the cauliflower to the tofu to the leek to the celery root to everything else under that roof. Because you need to basically diverse your taste buds. You need to be pulling in food items that normal people seem to stray away from. So you don't like those Brussels sprouts? sprouts, well, you might have a problem because Brussels sprouts probably has some amino acids in it that you need, and because you're not eating that piece of plump chicken breast in the back, then you're going to have to substitute it for maybe those Brussels sprouts in order to get it done. Spinach, you don't like the spinach either? Well, maybe you should learn to like it because vegetarians need those diverse food sources in order to stay healthy and nutritious. So, a lot of people think vegetarianism is going over to a healthy diet, and for the most part it is. For the most part, eating vegetarian is very healthy. You limit your cholesterol, you limit your high blood pressure, you limit some of your plaque, and your reduce the chances of heart attack, you reduce the chances of diabetes. A whole number of things comes in with a vegetarian diet. The problem, though, that you run is that you will malnourish yourself if you don't eat a proper diet. So keep that in mind if you are a vegetarian or if you're thinking about going over to vegetarianism. Just please keep that in mind. So all of you people that put down those knives and pick up the forks instead, just keep in mind you better be drinking a protein shake or eating a protein bar so that way it keeps your body in check. Okay, so with that said, in the next video we're going to be looking at the configuration of the amino acids. We've now talked about the structures of all of them. We said that they are L amino acids that we have in our body. So I want to take at least a couple of minutes and talk about the stereochemistry of these amino acids as far as the L goes. So stay tuned. We're looking at stereochemistry in the next video. So take a break here. Maybe in a day or two, pick up with the next set of videos and go on with the stereochemistry. But all of the amino acid structures have been taken care of. This will give you enough on your plate to digest in quite some time.